Welcome back to another episode of ROC Boys football. The fellas are heading down south as the Arkansas Razorbacks go on the road to play the Mississippi State Bulldogs in Starkville. The kettlebells will be loud. A couple things you have to note going into this game. KJ Jefferson questionable with a head injury, which is, in my opinion, significant to note just because that's one of those injuries that you don't really play through. Like if you can't go with a head injury, you can't go. It's not one of those ankle sprains that you can tough out. So you got to monitor KJ Jefferson's ability to play Saturday. And then also you have to take a look at Mississippi State, who has one of the best passing offenses in the country, going up against an Arkansas Razorbacks team that hasn't really been able to stop the pass against anybody all year. One of the weakest secondaries in the SEC and in the country. It's going to be a good one, though. I mean, Arkansas, there's a lot to like about this Arkansas team. Before we get into the matchup, though, I just wanted to say thank you guys for all the support you guys have shown the channel. We are almost at 2,000 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy. We started this a little over a year ago. About 12 months ago, we had 40 subscribers. So the support you guys have shown is absolutely awesome. It means a lot to the fellas. So if you do like the content, consider subscribing. Then in the comments section, let us know what your takes are on this game. Players to watch. Give us your picks. We're trying to stack some money. Let's get into this matchup, and let's start with the Mississippi State Bulldogs, where this is a team that has a much better defense than I think a lot of people give them credit for. When you take a look at Mike Leach teams in general, you don't talk about their defense. You talk about the air raid. You talk about the explosive offense. You talk about the points they score, primarily trying to beat teams in shootouts. This Mississippi State defense, is very good, only allowing 21.8 points per game, stingy against the run, only allowing 4 yards per carry. You take a look at some of the personnel on this Mississippi State defense, like it's no surprise that they're a good defense. Jet Johnson, Nathaniel Watson, Tyra Sweet. You combine that with one of the best cornerbacks in the whole entire country, a guy that's very high on my draft boards, Emmanuel Forbes, already has 3 interceptions, 4 passes defended. This is a good personnel defense. They are a physical team, and I think they match up quite well against this Arkansas team that last year you're talking about this matchup. You think Arkansas is going to play some bully ball. They're going to be able to run the football, keep Mississippi State in that offense, and Will Rogers off the field. I don't know if you'll see that as much this week. Now, the second thing, KJ Jefferson leads one of the best rushing attacks in the whole entire country, 232 yards per game. Obviously, KJ Jefferson is a phenomenal runner, but Rocket Sanders is one of the best running backs in the SEC. He's running behind one of the best offensive lines in the SEC, and it's no surprise that they have a really good rushing attack. I think that's going to be the story of the game when Arkansas has the ball. Is KJ Jefferson playing? Having a guy like KJ Jefferson makes this rushing attack as elite as it is. If you don't see him, you're either dealing with a walk-on quarterback or Malik Hornsby, who is a phenomenal athlete but hasn't really shown the ability to be a dual-threat guy. He really is only kind of a wildcat quarterback. Can't really throw, a little bit one-dimensional. KJ Jefferson can throw the ball. Guys like Matt Landers, Jaden Hazelwood have stepped up in big ways for this Arkansas team, replacing Treylon Burks. If KJ Jefferson can't go, I'm very concerned about the two-dimensionality of this Arkansas offense. Can they throw the ball? Or are you going to see a lot of loaded boxes for Mississippi State, who's been very good against the run? And if Arkansas can't run the football, keep Will Rogers and that offense off the field, I think it's going to be a long day in Starkville for the Razorbacks. And on the flip side, the key for Arkansas, in my mind, to stopping this Mississippi State air raid is not necessarily expecting your secondary to all of a sudden get really, really good and step up and be able to cover these guys. It's more up front. I mean, Arkansas, this is our Arkansas defense that was pretty good last year. And during summer previews, we were banging the table to get more pressure on the quarterback. They were doing a lot of rush 3, drop 8, letting quarterbacks sit in the pocket and kind of piece Arkansas apart. Not this year. Arkansas is bringing a lot more pressure, and they have some guys that can really get after the quarterback. The transfer Drew Sanders, who we were extremely excited about, one of the more slept-on transfers, I think, in the country, a former 5-star guy, 6'4", 240 pounds. He's very athletic. Just couldn't really find the field at Alabama. Has been one of the best players in the SEC, the best player for Arkansas, 44 tackles. He's got 8 tackles for a loss, 7 sacks. He's a guy that, again, 6'4", he's long. He can rush the passer. He's very explosive off the edge. I've liked how they've used him. In fact, I think they should more blitz him off the edge a little bit more instead of playing that more traditional off-ball linebacker, because I think that's how Drew Sanders can impact the game. But there's a lot of other guys that you feel really good about too. I think Landon Jackson, the guy from LSU, the transfer, he's been very good. Zach Williams has been impressive. And then obviously you have Bumper Pool, the All-American, like the tackle machine. this Arkansas defense, especially in that front seven, it's a very tough defense, and I think they're going to need to bring some pressure. Mississippi State has lost both tackles from last year, obviously losing Charles Cross. See if you can mix up some pressures. See if you can get Will Rogers off the spot, because if you allow Will Rogers to just sit back there, let his wide receivers get open, he's going to pick you apart. And that's another thing I want to note is we want to see continued step up. Like, you want to see continued wide receivers to step up for Mississippi State. One of the big questions was who's going to replace Mekhi Polk and all that production he had for the Bulldogs last year. A lot of the fans were saying it's going to be a committee, and they were right. Ra Thomas is leading the team with 359 yards and 3 touchdowns, but you have a laundry list of guys who are stepping up. Both running backs are very good out of the backfield. Caleb Ducking has looked very good. Rufus Harvey has looked very good. They have some guys who are stepping up kind of by committee, and there's a lot of ways this Mississippi State team can hurt you. The keys to the game, in my opinion, is one, how well does Arkansas tackle in the secondary? Because Mississippi State doesn't necessarily push the ball downfield that much, but they dump it off to the running backs a lot. They get a lot of wide receiver screens. They get the ball into their guys' hands early, forcing the secondary to tackle. Can Arkansas do that? Second, can Arkansas in defense get after Will Rogers, force some errant throws? This is a team that has taken care of the ball really, really well through 5 games. Can you force some turnovers that give your offense some short field? And when Arkansas is on the offense side of the ball, is KJ Jefferson healthy? That's the first question. And second question, can they run against a Mississippi State defense that's been very good against the run all year? If Arkansas can run the football, keep that Mississippi State offense off the field, I think it's going to be really hard for Mississippi State to cover 9.5 points. Now, getting to the pick, I do think I like Mississippi State minus 9.5. Here's my reasoning. I would feel comfortable taking Mississippi State to cover 9.5 right now if we knew KJ Jefferson would play. Now, if you factor in that KJ Jefferson might not play, I would probably put this line at like 17.5, maybe even 21. Because there's just not really a quarterback behind KJ Jefferson that you feel really good about either. Dealing with the walk-on, you're dealing with Malik Hornsby, who I love Malik Hornsby. I just don't know if I love him as a full-time QB1 who needs to throw from the pocket as well. And so I think you're kind of hedging your bet a little bit. You take Mississippi State here at minus 9.5. I still think they will be able to throw the ball all over Arkansas. Even if Arkansas tries to dial up some pressure, Will Rogers has been really good at getting the ball out quick. You're forcing some of these guys at Arkansas's back end in the secondary to tackle in space. They haven't done that very well. They let guys behind a lot. My lean here, actually not even a lean, I think I'm going to go with Mississippi State to cover 9.5. And again, if you can get it in now and KJ Jefferson gets ruled out later on in the week, you're looking at a really, really good investment there. Not investment. You're really looking at a really good bet. I think Mississippi State can cover 9.5 points. Like this game a lot. I think it's just too bad of a matchup for Arkansas in the sense that they probably won't be able to run the ball as efficiently as they have against other teams. And then Mississippi State, I just think will piece them up in the secondary. Arkansas just not healthy enough, especially if KJ Jefferson's not playing. Give me Mississippi State at home covering that 9.5 points. Appreciate you guys checking us out as usual. If you do like the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We do really appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.